cars used to be 500 bucks, $1,000 for a parts car back in the day. Those days are over. You get something like this for, I'd say, $300 to $3,500. It's gonna save you a lot of aggravation. It is so hard right now, even just to find a stock running and driving 5.0 drivetrain. What's up guys, and welcome back to the infamous project. The ice is finally starting to melt down here in Texas. I don't know who called for this. Mother Nature, you need to get yourself in check because I left Canada for a reason. Anyways, so today's video is gonna be about the parts car here. You guys might have seen it in a couple other videos or in the background or on Instagram or any of those things. And I got this car originally with the 93 Cobra in hopes that any parts that I would need off of it would go to help putting that car back together. So my 93 Cobra, if you haven't seen the video, is in fact, well, it's not a roller because it did come with the drivetrain, but the drivetrain isn't installed. And it has a tubular K-member, former race car, you guys know how it is. So I was thinking, you know, a nice black GT would give me maybe the K-member if I want to go back to factory, some miscellaneous nuts and bolts and screws and hardware and everything else that I might need to put it back together. Needless to say, it's already been donating some parts, and you can see right now this thing is in pretty rough shape. And as original and as definitely not minty. If you guys haven't heard the podcast between me and Castle Customs last week on what is mint, you guys need to give that a listen. So this car, mind you not mint, is very much original. It actually has all of its original body panels on it. All the VIN stickers are there. It's original paint that's faded and dented and scratched and pieces of urethane chipped and missing and everything else. So this car is the definition of an organ donor to the foxbody world. It's going to give life to not only one other foxbody, not two, probably three fox bodies. I'm gonna make this thing save. So before you guys get all uppity, like, oh, save it, you can fix it. You know, every single panel on this car is dented, is molested, is like, you can barely get this door open. See, it doesn't even close normally. The passenger door you need to open from the inside. The interior, well, I've already started robbing some pieces from it. I needed the brackets for the heater core for another project that they were missing on. And, well, yeah, you can see. I thought that worked for a second, but maybe, you know what? It did work, and I took the spring. So, you know, everything is here. It's just all in pieces. And in fact, there is some parts in the back here that belong to the 93 Cobra. Again, because the two cars came together as one. You guys might be wondering, which cars are going to get saved from this thing? Well, this motor actually runs really, really well. I did a compression test on it, and it came back, I kid you not, it was 140 to 144 across all 8 cylinders. Like, the variance between them was just unreal. Now, funny enough, when I was ripping out the center console, I found, you know, a tube of lipstick in there, and the interior is an absolute complete nightmare even before I started ripping some stuff apart. And I feel like this might have been a female-owned vehicle for most of its life, and it spent its whole entirety in Austin. It's actually got, you know, the sticker on the back here. What do we got here? Johnson Ford, Austin, Texas. It's an OG ATX 5.0 car that was never really molested or beat on. It still actually has, check this out guys, it still has its date coded plug wires on here. So they're all on here. It still has its date coded and stickered up battery cable wires. And if you guys actually look down here, and you look close, like these valve covers are super clean. This intake manifold is actually really, really clean with the exception of the plate and the EGR spacer. But even that lower intake, other than a little bit of, you know, these white spots that will pretty much just rub off with a Scotch pad and some cleaning. That's really just from sitting, guys. So it's all here, it's all factory. This car's actually an 89, but we got mint frame rails here, both sides. And we have this section right here that I need for the 93 Cobra, because this was butchered for probably power pipe, Anderson pipe, whatever they had in that car. So I'm gonna need a section here. I'm gonna have a K member that I need for the Cobra. And you might be wondering about the drivetrain. This thing runs great. It's actually running on that computer that looked like I found it from the bottom of the ocean. If you guys haven't seen that video of that computer, that actually it randomly came with the two cars in the Cobra, but the computer that was in this car was fine. It came with the 93 Cobra computer as well, the proper, and I forget the nomenclature on it. And then it came with this computer that was just disgusting, and it's actually still running this car. You guys might be wondering, does this car run right now? Absolutely. I plop a battery in this thing, it's gonna fire right up. So I was using this thing to go get the mail and bring the trash down out to the end of the driveway until Dale left the old square body farm truck here. Now I've been using that. It helps as well when I'm getting those LMR packages and everything else delivered. There's a little bit more room in the bed. So this thing does run great. The only thing, one day when I was bombing down the driveway to go get some mail, check this out. I've actually never seen this. The bearings actually let loose in this water pump, and needless to say, the clutch fan, you know, hit the shroud. A blade went through the rad. You can see where kind of there's some rust down here, and punctured the rad. Lost all the water out of it, and yeah, ball bearings and everything else everywhere else. So clearly the belt snapped off. So this thing won't stay cool because there's no cooling hooked up. You can see whoever did this water pump at some point, oh, it almost seems like glue. It's gonna be interesting when I take that apart. So this motor and this transmission and the clutch pedal assembly is actually gonna go into the San Antonio white notch that I picked up not too long ago. So if you guys remember, this is a 4-cylinder, well, originally a 4-cylinder car that had already been converted to a 5.0 at some point. So all the 5.0 stuff is already in here. We already got an 8.8 in the rear. We already got a 5-bolt swap. There's a tubular K member. The only thing that is not upgraded in here is in fact the brake booster. They left that alone, but everything else in terms of brakes and suspension are in fact V8 spec. So the booster in here actually looks like it's in really good shape still. I'll probably plop that out when I get the pedal assembly and everything else. And so this heart is gonna go into this notch. So there's car number 1 that's gonna get saved. Car number 2 that's gonna get saved is my 93 Cobra, because it's gonna be donating some of the body panel metal in the inner fender apron there, probably the K member, some miscellaneous nuts, bolts, screws, all of those things. And then these frame rails are so mint, and I'm probably gonna cut the frame rails off, and I'm gonna use them on the 88 T-top back in Canada, which those are in fact rotted out. Might even be able to use some of this floor pan. Now, the only thing about the floor pan, I need to look at it closely because they did load this car with a forklift, and you know, going through some auctions and wrecking yards or wherever it went through, I just want to make sure that there's no, you know, huge indentations or anything messed up from improper jacking, forklifting, all of those things. So that would be the 3rd car that this guy is potentially going to save. So that's pretty amazing when you think about it. You know, it's one of those, call it a jalopy, a hoopty, a disaster, whatever you want. I could go over the brakes, go over the suspension, you know, put some door seals in it, you know, throw like some 18-inch Celine reps and chrome and slam this thing down, and it would, it actually look kind of cool, but it serves its purpose better in other places. So anyways, I'm going to prove to you guys how well this thing runs, because I'm going to grab the battery out of the old farm truck, stick it in here. Maybe we'll do the car's very last burnout before we start ripping this thing down. And we should be able to rip it down pretty quick. So another amazing cool thing about this, look at this. So got the OG original cherry pickers. So we'll be able to hook our chain right onto these guys. Actually, it's missing back here. All right, so we'll be able to hook one on. Something must have been done back here, maybe some emission tube replacement or something. But like, look at these wire separators. Like, some of you guys might not even know, these are factory. And they are all hooked up and they are nice. And yeah, I can see that this is actually an aftermarket hose here. So with that said, you know, we got a nice accumulator here. This, you know, I wouldn't be surprised this AC system didn't even work, you know, especially being a Texas car in the Texas summer. You know, here's a full AC setup, and you know, that will translate into the white notch because we got to have AC down here. So there is the value and the importance of a parts car, especially to a guy like me that goes through so many Foxes. But even if you guys wanted to do a 4-cylinder swap or save something that was rusty that you need panels for, or maybe you picked up a roller, you know, trying to piece together all the parts can be really, really pricey. And if you get something like this for, I'd say, $300 to $3,500, it's going to save you a lot of aggravation. It is so hard right now, even just to find a stock running and driving 5.0 drivetrain. Like, this thing goes through the gears, it runs, it idles, it does everything. Even on that questionable computer it does. And to find a motor like this, it's all together in stock and original with good compression, that is actually probably almost worth the value of the entire car. 5-speed, so everything, if you want to do a 5-speed swap, it's all there. So, you know, I get it. These cars used to be $500, $1,000 for a parts car back in the day. These days are over. So I actually lucked out. I have another parts car coming in 2 days. And that parts car, you know, will give life to some other Fox bodies, I'm sure. And you know, that one I'm going to be into it for probably a little over $2,000. So there you have it, guys. All right, we'll get this 5.0 floor mat here. Oh, is it going to be enough to keep me dry? I need another one. All right, got these floor mats here. Hopefully keep me dry. Alright guys, I had to do it, and unfortunately it's the last burnout that this 1989 GT is going to do. It's not the last burnout the drivetrain's going to do, because, well, as soon as I get it into that white coupe over there, you can bet yourselves I'll be lighting the tires up on it as well. So there you have it, the 1989 GT parts car in all of its glory, its justifications, and why I'm going to tear it down, and why it's going to be a Fox body organ donor. And you know what? You can't save them all. Well, you could try to, but there's a time, there's a place, there's the return on investment, there's just being smart and being realistic about what is worth saving and what isn't worth saving. And this car, despite the fact that, you know, it is rust-free and has some originality going for it, man, this car's beat. So there you have it. Time to strip this thing down. And you're going to be seeing this in a different variation reincarnated into many different cars. Thank you guys again for your support and following along, especially to the end. And be sure to pass my channel around. I keep getting told that my channel should have more traction than it does. I do feel like I've done quite well, but you know what? If you feel like you can help me out by passing my channel along or getting your friends to subscribe, please do so. And your support is always appreciated. So thank you again, and we'll see you guys next time here on the Infamous Project.